Okay, so we're on Worcester Street, right? Just up the block is this store called Celine. Have you guys ever heard of it?
Oh, it's very fancy. It's expensive.
Very, very fancy. So anyway, minding my own business, I get a phone call, right? This guy's like, hey, how you doing? I'm from the 1st precinct. We had a robbery just up the block at Celine, and we're collecting, camera footage to see if we can gather the guy's license plate. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? It's like, it was in broad daylight. Some guys threw on some hoods, ran into Celine, ransacked it, shoved the security guard out of the way, and bailed by car.
How much did they grab? Because Celine's expensive.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
A Celine bag could be like thousands and thousands.
How crazy is that? Now that's starting to happen here in New York. And I don't know if this is just a random occurrence, but we've seen that across the country, right? In Los Angeles and San Francisco.
They were breaking in and just grabbing things.
Break into like Dwayne Reed or CVS and just clear the shelves. Because apparently there's laws out there that if you are under a certain amount of stolen goods, they can't arrest you.
So what's funny, I don't know if that's true, but I know, so I used to work for a brand that sells makeup. We'll call it Schmack. Anyway, when I worked at Schmack, there were several stores in the city, right? And Times Square was a big location. And there had been these people that had been going around to this makeup store and with bags, and someone would ask one of the people working there, one of the makeup artists, like, oh, can you tell me about this product? And while the makeup artist had their back turned, their accomplice would just scrape like hundreds and hundreds of dollars of this makeup into the bag and then run out, right? And because of the way the rules are with security, they're actually not allowed to stop anyone.
Right.
Right?
That's what I'm talking
Security
about.
at stores are not allowed to stop people.
Yeah.
So
because they can file for assault.
Right.
How crazy is that?
So this was happening in multiple locations. And I think it was at my location. I wasn't there that day. Someone from the other Schmack store had phoned in and been like, hey, listen, there's someone going around doing this today to the Schmack stores. Be careful. It's two people. One of them has a big dragon tattoo on their arm. And as they were on the phone, that person walked into the store.
No way.
And they were like, and so they could phone the police and they got them out in time and it was fine. But the reason they could get away with
got them out or arrested?
As in the police came and arrested them.
Good.
Because they saw them walking in as their other store was on the line saying this person's going around to the stores.
So the police can stop them?
The police can stop them, absolutely.
Okay, good.
It's the security hide security. And do you know what just happened uptown near me?
So that's the law, yeah.
So this just happened recently. There was a Dwayne Reed, which is the name of a pharmacy here in New York, a chain of pharmacies.
Yeah, it's like the CVS.
Yeah, CVS. And it was Walgreens, actually.
Yeah, it's like brand. A Walgreens, exactly.
So there was a police officer who works part-time as a security guard at the Dwayne Reed in the 90s on the West Side. And there had been two people in there that, I don't know if they knew each other, but they were having a fight. They were arguing. And one of the guys pulled out a knife and stabbed the guy he was talking to in the arm. Didn't kill him, but he stabbed him.
Damn.
And the security guy then chased him 2 blocks and shot him 5 times.
What?
Yeah, and the guy
security
survived.
guard
He's
did?
in hospital. Yeah.
And he's in jail, isn't he?
No, I think he's not actually.
Okay.
Because then the guy...
How did he have a firearm?
So he ran after him.
Yeah.
The guy who stabbed someone ran. The security guy ran after him. The guy who stabbed him turned around and lunged at the security guy.
Shot.
And that's when he shot him.
Okay, self-defense.
Yeah. And he shot him non-lethal. I think he shot him in the stomach and the guy had to go to hospital, but he's okay. He survived.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how okay he is, but he survived. But this all just happened uptown. Violence is definitely on the rise right now.
Violence is on the rise. And that is, that is 2 doors from Gucci. This robbery.
Store? Yeah.
That is 2 doors from
Not
Gucci. That
Gucci.
is 4 doors from Tiffany's.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about
Celine's up there as a brand.
Celine's up there, right? That's by the Real, that's by Tiffany's, that's by Gucci. Some of the most expensive retail spots in the entire city, right? All with security guards. And someone can just waltz in and just ransack it.
Yeah, it's wild.
It really makes you wonder. I worry about putting up my address with this equipment. I worry about having things like that online where people can, start identifying locations and places to break into.
I just keep thinking about those poor
that.
women at the coffee shop and how stressed and upset and flustered they were.
Yeah.
Because no one deserves that. You're trying to do your job. It's a great coffee place. I go there all the time. They're trying to do their job. They're so nice there.
And we pay way too much taxes to not have a police be ready.
And they had to deal with this guy saying disgusting things to them. Saying threatening them, pulling down his pants, yelling at the customers, making them feel endangered. It looked like he was gonna hurt someone. It wasn't just some guy in the corner
that's what it sounds like, right?
Spewing
Someone
stuff.
really
He looked like he was really gonna hurt someone. And then the fact that they phoned the police and no one showed up.
That's the craziest part of that story, right?
And when the police came in, the customers in the store were like, I phoned you, they phoned you, this woman phoned you, someone went over and get to you. And then another lady was like, we had to get the children out of here. Like, it got very dramatic.
So how did the police honestly feel?
The police were like, we were down the road. We had another incident to deal with. I know you're upset, but we came as fast as we could. We were dealing with something else. Like, they
so
got
it's not,
very
I am so sorry.
No, they got very
sorry
defensive.
that,
And as I was leaving, it looked like things were calming down. The guy was like, I'm sorry I got heated and yelled at you. I was just upset at the situation. The police were like, I get it. We were down the road. There was an incident happening. We didn't get like...
You know what that reminds me of, Meriel? It's kind of the relationship between you and a waiter when you have bad service. No, like anyone.
Oh, I was like, I've never had a fight with waiters.
Like anyone in New York. You know, like when you're in a restaurant and there's bad service?
Yeah.
And you just assume the waiter is in on it? You know what I'm saying?
It's not. My roommate's
frustration.
My roommate's a server, and if the kitchen's slow, she gets yelled at by the
No, I get it.
customers,
I've worked in restaurants for 10 years. So trust me, I understand as from a place of experience. What I'm saying is like when you're in a restaurant and everything kind of seems to not be working, you associate the workers with the product.
Yes.
They may have been on 60th Street dealing with some crazy something, right? It could have been like a stabbing.
Yeah.
It could have been something nuts. And what's interesting is that they're so frustrated that they weren't even like, I'm sorry, we couldn't get here sooner. It's, we were uptown. Like, you guys don't even understand.
But are you telling me that's a huge precinct. It's huge. It's the one uptown. I see it every day. Are you telling me there was no one in that entire precinct who couldn't have walked over?
It's entirely possible, Mary. Do you know how many people quit? How many cops quit since these riots?
Yeah.
You know, like so many of them.
But I doubt the
resigned.
precinct was sitting empty. I doubt it. I doubt there was no one there.
I don't know how
maybe
that
they
works.
didn't realize how serious it was. Maybe they're getting calls like this every day and they didn't think it was as
I don't know. It could be
scary as it was.
I don't know if it's that. I think it's I don't know. Maybe they're short staffed. Maybe they have so many new recruits that they're not like working through the problems quickly enough.
Maybe there's just
they're just
huge
slow
amount of violence and crime in New York right now, and people they just can't.
I feel like we would be hearing more about that though.
I have been hearing more about it. I mean, there was that shooting up the road from me.
That is
another
true, right?
shooting in Brooklyn.
And
this
the
just
fire,
happened this morning. I was a witness. Like, I think in the last month, it seems to me that poor woman got pushed on the subway into the subway tracks. You didn't hear about this?
No. Did you hear about this, Mark?
Oh, in Times Square.
Yeah.
Someone went up to a woman and pushed her on the subway tracks. And she died, didn't she? She got hit by a train. It was awful.
Oh, because I just saw a video from a few weeks ago where someone tried to do that, and then she just made it past the train.
And
so she hit the doors that were going by fast and like bounced off, and a cop was right behind her and like rushed on the scene. Yeah, that's the scariest way to go.
I don't ever stand near the train tracks. I stand in the middle of the platform.
I stand near the train tracks and I'm like,
so like this, feeling the breeze as I was past you.
Right? Like, what is that? Like Jack and what's her name from Titanic?
Yeah. Yeah.